Sean, I forgot my notebook.
Where's it at?
I don't know. It was on my notes. Oh, I carried it in here in anger. Hey guys, I'm getting really good at doing this video because I think I've done it 3 times now. I keep screwing up. I haven't done a video in a while. I'm out of practice anyway, I don't know. So I just got back from XOBA. XOBA is the Cross Ohio Bike Adventure. It was a lot of fun. I do XOBA. This is the second time I've done XOBA and I would highly recommend it. They're really, really good people. But what I love about XOBA is like RAGBRAI happens at the same time, and this is the opposite of RAGBRAI. So if you know what RAGBRAI is, it's the it's the Iowa ride, and it's like 50,000 people this year. It was just a huge, massive rolling party. You have to get off your bike and walk through the towns. XOBA is the opposite. It's 50 people. Most people would hardly notice if our ride comes through their town because, like I said, it's 50 bike riders. It's super chill, super laid back. Most folks on it are pretty old, honestly. I think the youngest person was maybe 42 this year. So it's an older ride. I'd like to see it grow. They'd like to have 200 people, really. They have 50. And it's just a great group. And, you know, I don't want to go on a ride and stand in line for hours to go to a nasty plastic porta-john. And on XOBA every day I had, you know, great facilities and, you know, just never had to wait in line. That's awesome. So I took my CAD 9 and I really loved riding it. I wanted to take an older road bike because, you know, these can be kind of rough on them. You might do a lot of riding in some bad, you know, conditions and stuff. My CAD 9 is like 15 or so years old. I've got kind of old, mostly worn out aluminum rims on them, and so but it's also very reliable. When I say worn out, it's just, you know, they're well used but in great shape. And it's also got my SQ Lab saddle, which is fantastic. The SQ Lab saddle, it's the 60X, and I'm not sponsored. I don't try to sell saddles for them. I just, you know, if you have had a hard time finding a saddle that works for you, you might try an SQ Lab saddle. They have a lot of different variations. They're German, but man, I tell you what, check my other video about it. It's really, it was the best week-long ride I've ever done. Besides riding, I went out and rided a mark. I was a volunteer, so I got a little better deal on the getting into the ride. And one day I went out to mark a course with another rider, another volunteer, and that's a hard job. So if you ever have thought, man, you know, these people should do a better job marking the course, well, it is a really hard job. So that could be, you know, maybe they didn't want to get ran over or something. So the other thing I got to do was I'd never done before, which was be a SAG driver. And normally I finish a day, you know, they're like 60-mile days, usually 70 at the most. I generally finish these days around like 11 o'clock or something. And I know some riders don't finish till about 3 o'clock, you know, and they need a SAG driver out there with water and stuff and a little encouragement. It was kind of fun. I wouldn't want to do it every day because there was a lot of waiting around, and I think there was a lot of waiting around because nobody really needed much from me other than just water and just like maybe like a little encouragement about, you know, where they were on the right course. And it's always good to see somebody, a friendly face, you know. So that was cool. I enjoyed doing it. Besides the great time I had at COVID, I also, besides the great time I had at XOBA, I also brought home some COVID. And COVID, it must be making a comeback. I mean, I haven't thought about COVID. In fact, I made a joke about COVID on the ride because I was like, did that really happen? You know, did we go? It seems like it was so long ago, and I, you know, like I was like, does that even go around anymore? Well, apparently it does because I got it, and it was not the worst I've ever been, but it was pretty sick. And sadly, I also gave it to Shauna, and she was worse than me. It kind of got in her chest more, and she had, you know, she didn't need to go to the hospital or anything, but it was definitely, she was a little more chest congested, where I was a little like sinus congested. Bad sore throat, very tired, lots and lots of fever and chills, fever and chills, fever and chills. That was the worst part. And so while we were recovering from COVID, something that we got into was Japanese walking videos. And these are great. Like these are perfect for something like this, because if you just don't feel like you really have enough energy to follow something complicated or pay attention, you just turn on these videos. They're super calming. There's no music. This genre of YouTube video involves a person with a really good camera, really high image quality, nice microphone, and they just walk around the streets of Japan. And it's so good because like it's just so, it's like being a tourist without having to do any work. You know, I'm walking around these like Tokyo, like Akihabara and all these really cool places in Tokyo, and they walk around like, they don't go to like the slums. I don't even know if Tokyo has slums. I'm sure it does, but their slums probably look like our, you know, regular areas. But they walk around the town and they just, you know, it's like, it looks really cool. It's really nice. The Japanese people pay no attention to the camera. It's like it's not even there. I know if it was the United States, there'd be people, you know, there'd be constant like flipping off the camera probably if you were, maybe not. I don't know if you were in like a busy city. Maybe not. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but I know that like people would definitely. There are some people who would be mad about getting their image on camera, and for the most part in Japan they just care less. It's like they just ignore the guy. But it's got to be really hard to make these videos because they carry a heavy cinematic camera on a stabilizer, and I have a stabilizer. They're not fun to carry around. They're heavy, and you got to kind of hold this thing. And so, yeah, perfect for getting better. You can really enjoy another culture with from the comfort of your couch while you're delirious with COVID. And one other thing I want to talk about was the COVID bump, and so. I lost 8 pounds while recovering from the week-long ride, and which I gained a little weight on a week-long ride. I was heavier when I got home than when I left. Always am. You eat a ton, plus your body's kind of holding water and stuff after a long bunch of rides, so kind of getting ready to get rid of all that inflammation. So while I was recovering from COVID, I didn't have any desire to eat. Like I was just, I mean, I wasn't like sick to my stomach, but also I just wasn't hungry, and I barely ate for like a few days. But it didn't bother me really, and I've lost weight, and I could tell like this is the lightest I've been in a long time. And I flew up a hill today. I felt good today, by the way. I got to go out on a short ride. I did like 20 miles today. Felt really good. Moved up on the leaderboard on a climb here, set a PR, and moved from like 5th place to 3rd place on a short 3-minute climb, but still felt like a rocket ship. Plus I was on my tarmac, which does feel kind of like a rocket ship compared to the old CAD 9. I think it's mostly the carbon wheels. They feel really fast. And by the way, this tarmac is an SL2, I think. So SL3. It's quite a bit old, but you know, carbon rim brakes, they are fine until you need to stop. But anyway, looking forward to the fall season coming in. You know, cooler temperatures. Right now, it's like only 80 something, but it's so hot from the humid. It's like super humid. Ohio, that was one of the greatest things. Like if I could move anywhere I wanted right now, probably like if I was retired and I'd go live in Ohio. Northern Ohio was so cool. Like it never really felt humid every day, and it was always like in the nice like 80-degree bracket of temperatures. I was never really hot. Here today, it's like, oh man, you go outside and it's like, did I just walk into a swimming pool? It is horrible. So anyway, guys, looking forward to fall, looking forward to some mountain biking maybe, looking forward to some cross racing. I might try cross racing. I won't be good at it. And actually, I'm starting to look forward to Zwift racing and Zwift riding again. I know that sounds weird, but you know, I'm hoping to maybe carry this fitness into next season and do even better things. So see ya.